Good morning, Sudi. Good morning, Lily. How are you?
We are good. Thank you, Pastor.
Good to see you. Thank you for joining this morning. I'm trying to get that word. Not thing. Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. Trying a new app on my phone for the lesson. So hopefully it doesn't mess up. How's your week been?
Really good. A bit slow, but it's getting better.
Oh, very good. Very good. How's the school?
The school is good. Gradually, we have more students coming in, and we still have more coming. So
Good.
yeah, and I have started letting some of the kids to do some practice that I think is very important. So I started on a gratitude journal for the kids. So every day they will write something.
Oh,
And yeah, and they came back pretty good, you know, pretty interesting. Then we can see how the kids are thinking or the way they look at the world, right? And one of the statement that one of our students wrote was, I'm thankful for ACID because I can learn math and English and get better.
very good. That is such a blessing.
Yeah, so that really touched me. So I guess we are on the way, you know, and I would like to help the kids to learn what do you call, to cultivate a better emotional intelligence, I guess.
Right. Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. That sounds exciting. Oh, pardon me. Let me turn that down. All right. Any testimonies, by the ways? Nothing?
I don't. Yeah.
One, nothing, nothing good to talk about.
Nothing good?
No.
Always something.
Yeah, but oh, Anson's coming on. He will have things to tell you.
Good morning, Ensign.
Hi.
Congratulations again.
Yeah, here comes Melissa.
Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning.
Hey, if you ain't got enough for everybody, don't come on here chewing.
You caught me.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. Good morning. Thank you all for joining. Any testimonies, by the way? Anson, I know you got a great one.
I do have a lot, yes.
This week is really awesome for you, right, Anson?
Oh, it's been a very fun week. There were a few ups and downs, but it's been a very positive week.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I think me too. The same.
Yes?
Me too.
Me too?
Yeah.
So 21, me two, me three, me four.
Oh, but I'm more excited about what you're gonna teach us today.
Yes? Good
I've
morning.
been looking forward. I've been, you know. But of course, you know, I don't want to spoil the
lesson?
you know, the lesson.
You can teach it.
Huh?
You can teach it. Go ahead.
No. I want to know. I want to learn.
All right. All righty. Paul Terry, good morning. Thank you for joining. I know he's at work. He's on mute, so good to have him on.
Oh, okay.
We're on page 344 of Master of Christ Consciousness. And again, thank you all for joining us, and thank you for all the testimonies that you have shared with me this week. And it has been a challenging week. Keep my wife up in prayer. She's been in a lot of pain, so I'm in the process of doing energy healing for her.
Who, Pastor?
My wife.
Who?
Audrey. My wife,
Oh,
Audrey.
what happened to her?
Oh, she has a body pain.
Oh.
So we're in the process of healing her body.
Oh, okay.
So she's been very uncomfortable.
Mm.
Send her some love, send her some love, send her some love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And love.
Definitely love. All right. And my week has been very, very good. Everything that I prayed for, asked for, I got. Kind of trip my doctors out when I go see them every time because they don't understand how healing goes. And plus, they always try to get me to get the flu shot. And I said, I haven't got the flu shot since God forever.
I know, Pastor.
So I prayed for front row parking and I got front row parking.
Wow.
Doctor's visit was it took me more time to get there. When I got there, I probably sat down maybe 5 minutes and then I was in the office. Blood pressure was that of a 20-year-old. Yay.
Yay.
He says, oh, your inner spirit is so happy. You look very good. I said, yeah, pretty good for 50. She goes, you're 50. Oh my God, I forgot you're 50. She said,
Mm.
so we basically had a conversation and I was done. She gave me a good green light, a bill of health for the year. And it took me longer to get back home. So
Mm.
it has been a great week. Those little things keep you in appreciation of manifesting the bigger things that you're desiring.
Mm.
So when I got the parking lot, I went, oh, thank you, God, for this front row parking lot. Because normally on a typical day, it's full.
Yes.
Like I'd have to literally get there extra early and sit there and wait. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to actually just let the universe work with me and work for me. And got there and I thanked the parking lot. And some guy looked at me like, what? He didn't understand. Me and the parking lot had a relationship. So that was kind of mine. Just to share a tidbit. Well, there's much more, but there's a lot. But
Yeah.
yes, Lily.
Yeah, but isn't okay, so what I noticed is that when the little things come, right? When you ask for the little things, they come, it means that you're already in the right frequency.
Yes. You are.
And so you just have to, so that's the direction that you want to be in, right? And so it's actually a kind of GPS for us that we're on the right path and things will get better. That's what happened on Thursday and Friday, where I have been thinking about how to expand the business. So I decided to let it go. I mean, let the universe do the work, right? So I'm just going to sit and wait and you guide me.
Right. Perfect.
And guess what? There are people coming in asking about new classes, wanting to register. I was looking like, okay. So actually, I just have to sit and, connect with them when they come in. And that's my job.
Yep.
So I felt it's way easy. It's a lot easier, right? Than I thinking of all the ways, right? And I'm not very high tech in anything. So it's kind of like stress me out actually inside.
Right.
Nobody knows that, but inside. So now I realize that actually the universe is getting it done. So I'm seeing, like you say, little bits, So I assume that I'm on the right path. So I'm going to continue sitting, okay, and let the universe deliver.
Absolutely, and those little things create more and more and more and more and more of that alignment and that vibration of what you're desiring. It also keeps you in the now to be appreciative of, wow, look how amazing that happened. And even though I'm stressed on the inside, I'm not going to show it because I'm going to release this stress because it doesn't serve me.
Okay. At first, you wouldn't know that it didn't serve you. You think that this is the basic, this is the minimum I have to do. I have to come up with a plan, a goal, a blah, blah, a way out, a solution, blah, 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 blah. So you kind of overwhelm yourself.
Right. And it goes back to what we always teach in terms of having the Christ consciousness or the managing of the mind. Because at the end of the day, it's self-imposed.
Yes.
Yes, it is, but I cannot help it. I have a sensible mind.
That's great. Now just manage it, organize it, put everything in the right perspective. So you have to ask yourself, why am I feeling anxious about this? Why am I feeling stressed? In other words, let the experience be the lesson to learn. What am I learning out of this? Why is my body feeling this way when it's not satisfying or is satisfied? So if it's stress, then the body is not what? Satisfied. So what is causing the stress? Why am I putting energy into this thing called stress? Why does it affect my body? Why does it affect my thinking? But even though you're still rational thinking, why is that hint of it still there? In other words, what do I have to address eternally to continue the healing process to make the wholeness of Lily?
Mhm.
So even when I get addressed with those things and I go, okay, why did I allow that to bother me? And this is why I say the affirmation every morning. I'm created as my Father created me to be. I'm free. And nothing sources my experience but me in each moment. And nothing whatsoever affects me except for that which I allow to affect me. I need do nothing. So now I go back to, what does that affirmation mean to me? Why did I allow that situation or that statement or that wording or that person or that thing, whatever it is, why did that affect me the way it did? What is it in me that I need to heal from? What is it within me that I need to address? What is it within me that, you know what I'm saying? I always bring it back to me because it's easier to point on the outside and say them. But at the end of the day, some people don't even realizing that they're doing something wrong to you. The ones who are really your friends. If they do an injustice, they really don't know they've done an injustice to you.
Mhm.
They're just doing what they think is right.
Yeah, and also because we also do not know what it should be. That's why we allow that to happen to us.
Mm-hmm. Right. So
Now we know already, like you said, we know that all this is BS. So
yeah,
we just don't entertain it.
yeah. You just throw it out. Yes, Lily.
Yeah. And this week, sorry, Lily, just a minute. And this week, I have been practicing what you said.
Mhm.
Okay, now that we are more aware, so we can pick and choose what we want to attend.
Right. Exactly.
You know, like you going into the room, in the dark room,
Mhm.
and you pick. So it takes a lot of confidence, though.
Trust the Lord with all your heart.
Yeah.
This is where we say trust. Who are you trusting? You're trusting the God within yourself to have no fear, no anxiety, no depression, no anger, no whatever, no judgment, none of those
Because
things.
outside the world is very overwhelming, just like what Lily said. You know, oh, we do not put advertisement, and then all the expert is when they have their speech. You
Mhm.
know, the speeches, they say, oh, advertisement, marketing. Like in 2016, Trump, the marketer for Trump spent $100 million on social media, you know.
I think, yep.
As a 2020, the goal is to spend 1 billion.
Yeah. Because if you see it enough, it's all about repetition.
So meaning for somebody like us that do a little bit of marketing, oh my God, oh, we are like lost there, you know.
Mhm.
But like you said, we have to now we get to pick and choose,
Correct.
and it works.
Deliberately.
Yeah, and that's why I think Lily did that. That's why her result is better than putting in the advertisement.
Absolutely.
Zero advertisement right now.
Yeah. And I feel it too, you know, Pastor. People are talking about buying the leads, you know. Buying leads is not it's not cheap, you know. And
But-
it doesn't mean that it's going to become a fruit
Right.
that you can enjoy, you know.
Right.
So I would say, oh man, don't worry about it. Just I think personal relationship is better.
That's right. Absolutely. And that's what it's about. It's about building those, again, web of relationships and going through the experience called life. Enjoy, and that's where we say, rejoice in what?
Trouble.
We, just like a marketer, just like an ad, we never change our strategy, do we? We always push stay in love, forgive, compassion, don't judge, neutrality. We never veer outside of that vortex or that frame of reference, because within that frame of reference keeps you in alignment. And even when you go this way, you can easily pull yourself back. Even when you go this way, you can easily pull yourself back and not look at it and put so much energy into it. But to say, you know what? Okay, what can I do in this present moment right now with the power that I have? Deliberately choosing. What way do I want to choose to create in this experience and get the desire that I'm looking for? And that's what it's about. But a lot of people always choose the illusion and not the truth. And that's where the problem is. The illusion is, I'm afraid of flying, or I'm afraid of this, or I'm afraid of catching that, or I'm afraid of this, or I got anxious about this, or I'm depressed about this, or I'm sad about this, or whatever it is. Where does it come from? And here's this. We're not saying be robots. We're not saying be emotionless. What we are saying is acknowledge that emotion, but don't stay there with it if it does not serve the body or serve the purpose. In other words, acknowledge, okay, I'm sad. Why am I sad? And we say, okay, don't take that thought. But sometimes you got to go internal and say, okay, what is the root cause of making me feel this way? Am I sad because I'm in absence of something? Am I sad because I'm missing a thing? Am I depressed because I'm lacking in areas of life or material things or whatever? You see what I'm saying? At some point, you have to say, what is it within myself that's making me feel this way?
Yes.
Because if me and the Father are one, my experience is that of love and joy. That's love and light. So if it is of love and light, then that is the truth. That is true always. Me and my Father are one. So the Father always has the what? Best for you. So whatever is presented before you, if it's not the best from the kingdom of God, then that is of yourself, of the ego. So now people choose the falseness of what they're experiencing, and it's okay because it's called free will.
Yes.
Then you learn, okay, this does not feel good. This is not satisfying, and I really don't want to stay here. How do I dig myself out of the hole? How do I accept the truth that is true always? What is the truth in the matter? What is everybody's truth? What is everybody's perception? Does that make sense?
Yes.
The real truth is you are all from source energy, created in the image and the likeness of God, given power with dominion over all of the earth. That is the truth. So now if you accept the truth that you are love and you are light, now you can function according to what is truth. So now when anxiety comes in, is this the truth? Because will the anxiety last 20 years? Probably not. You'll probably pick up something more anxious than anxious because of law of attraction, correct? You have one fear, you'll have an enhancement of all fears. Well, not all fears, but you'll enhance that one fear. And then guess what? Once you're no longer fearful of that, it'll be something else that scares you. And vice versa. So now it's choosing to be the truth. What is the truth? Me and the Father are one. For greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. Now, how much more powerful are you now with that statement?
Very powerful.
Very powerful. Now that gives you the freedom and the ability to do what? And Melissa said it best, to change direction deliberately. I don't want to feel depressed anymore. So what can I do to get out of this depressed state? And then all of a sudden, once you release and really surrender, all of a sudden somebody cheerful or some event will happen that will brighten up your day, or there will be that breakthrough. And all you need is that crack in the door, that breakthrough to give you hope. And once a person has hope, that helps with their believing. Hope is very powerful because hope puts you at the doorstep of the kingdom of God, of what you're manifesting or trying to manifest. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When you are hopeless, are you closest to your desire or farther from your desires?
Further.
Further.
So you want to be hopeful of the things you're desiring, because that puts you right on the cusp of this is what I want, this is why I want it. Does that make sense? It puts you in that vibration of what you're wanting and why you're wanting it. Hey, little sister, how are you? Thank you.
Hey, big bro.
You got any confessions for it before we get deep?
I just met with my editor. My book is awesome.
Good job. Yeah. Congratulations. Congratulations.
You have a cameo, by the way.
All right.
All right.
That's what's up. I like it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're on page 344 of Master Christ Consciousness, lesson 8.
Thank you.
Point 6, or page 6, point 6. Choosing to be the truth. And as we continue to discover what is the truth always, then you discover what you want, why you want it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It also helps you face your own mishaps or misjudgments. This is where the Holy Spirit comes in and corrects the error of your thinking. Does that make sense? So when you forgive yourself of thinking, okay, I was upset about that, or I was upset with that person, even though we're not saying not to justify your emotion, what we're saying is be more in control of managing your emotions. Because if not, where you are emotionally will dictate how you create. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if I'm in the place of fear, what am I going to create?
More fear.
More fear, absolutely. But if I'm in a place of courage, now what do I create? More courage, obviously. You can't serve two masters. You're either going to hate one or love the other, correct?
Correct.
So might as well serve love. Let love be the truth that is true always, because God is love, God is light. You are at the image and the likeness of the Creator, which is love and light. So you are little love and little light with a whole lot of power, with the freedom to do that and the freedom to choose any way you want. That's true power.
Yes.
Is it not? So now,
It is.
here's the question that lies in number 2. Why is it important? Why is the truth that is true always important? Why is this important? What would truth make you?
Free.
Woo, come on now. Everybody say that. Truth would make me what?
Make me
Free.
How many want to be slaves?
Yeah.
Oh, see,
Mm-mm.
how many want to be free?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you accept that me and my Father are one, that is the truth that is true always. Now, with God, all things are what? Possible.
Possible.
Now, who can stop you?
No.
Me, and that's it. Nobody else.
Only you can stop you. That's how
Right.
powerful you are. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm kind of jumping ahead in question 3, but what is the purpose of all teaching? You can probably scroll down and get it, but off the top of your head, what is the purpose of all teaching?
Peace.
Peace, okay. What else?
So that we can learn to go back and join God.
Okay, learn to go back to, okay, remembering of who you are. Great way of saying it, absolutely. Anyone else? Now we're talking about truth. What is the purpose of all teaching concerning truth?
The
Makes
truth is we and God are one.
We're in God are one, absolutely, absolutely.
So the teaching is for us to get the realization of that.
Good, man.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Then it feels too good.
You are all right. But that, you know what I'm saying? Because once you understand the whole purpose of the teaching, now you enjoy the experience of what you're being taught. Now you don't mind going to school because everybody hated school. Most of us did. I did. I didn't like school. School was necessary to get by in life. Only people who, you know, I'm not saying everybody, but I didn't like school. How many of y'all like school? Be honest.
We cannot go against because we are in the business.
I understand. I get that. But truthfully, you didn't want to go to school.
Yeah.
You'd rather be in the playground playing and having fun. Who didn't want to do that? Recess is the most important part of my education. Recess. I learned more coming back from recess.
Mm.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Can you accept the truth that is true always, that you and God are one? Yes, Pastor.
Yes, Pastor.
Absolutely. I choose to be the truth that allows freedom to be extended to all others. In other words, they are just like you. There is no separation. If there's no separation between you and the Father, there's no separation between you or your brothers or sisters. That's why it is said to love your neighbor as you love yourself, which also means you have to love your enemies.
Mm-hmm.
The enemy might be yourself. So now you have to love yourself. You are garbled.
I'm sorry.
It's
I said usually the enemy is yourself.
absolutely. And often when I tell people you don't love yourself, they get offended. And I don't mean it in an offensive way, meaning love yourself more. You love everybody, which is fine. But if you don't love self, it's hard to love others wholly and fully. Matter of fact, it's almost impossible, because here's what happens. If it's not reciprocated the same way, now why come that person didn't love me like I love them? And often you see that within couples or in relationships. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the way of transformation has been designed to guide you with specific exercises. And I know many of you love the exercises. Yay, Pastor, we love these exercises. Absolutely. With many fundamental questions to the brink of the decision in which the mind declares itself from within itself and extends outward. I am my Father. I am my Father. I am my creative source. I and love and wisdom are one. That makes sense? From this moment forward, I will walk and live as one who chooses to use the power of mind, the power of awareness, the power of intention, the power of clarity, the power of being itself to know the truth that sets all things what? Free. I choose to be the truth that allows freedom to be extended to all others. I choose to walk upon this plane while yet the body lasts for a little while, as that one who has been sent forth as a ray of light to shine into a world that has feared it. If God is love and God is light, you are love and you are light. So let your light what? So shine. Others may see the goodness of your work, that the Father might be glorified. Does that make sense? So then we invite you then to come the way of the transformation, to close the way of the transformation, to truly set aside time to withdraw yourself from the roar and the din of the world, to withdraw yourself from all the beliefs you have held about yourself or about anyone or anything. And there, in the silence of your own heart, simply acknowledge that the truth must always be true, always, and that the time is at hand for you to use the power of the mind given unto you of your Creator in only way that it can be used sanely. I am my Father, I am my creative source, are what? One. We're always taking you back to having a relationship with God. That is the whole thing. God is love, God is light. So if you have a relationship with God, now you have a relationship with all of his creation in love. So now you start looking at the flowers different. You start looking at the trees different. You start looking at the mountain. You start looking at other people differently. Your whole perception changes when you start looking through the eyes of God. And I'm gonna tell you, boy, it is a spectacular view from the eyes of Source Creator, because he only operates in the good, the holy, and the beautiful.
I have a question.
Yes.
If we are God, then how can we connect to God? That's the part that's still confusing for me.
It's the self within the self. Greater is he who is in me. Where is God at? It's okay. Here's a great way to think about it. We're going to take God, okay, Source Creator, and we're going to break him into trillions and trillions of pieces.
Right.
Put itself back together.
Mm-hmm.
We're all, in other words, in one consciousness.
I can get that part, but the part when we get to, like before, when we were saying that you are God, I am God, then what am I I'm connecting to myself.
Yes.
Then,
Stop right there. Don't go no further. Don't overthink it.
that's what I do.
Stay with self. Stay with self. Stay with self. Greater is he who is what?
In me,
Where is he?
in me.
Who you got to connect to? In me. Not Meekins, not Anson, not Melissa, not Paul, not Lily, not Sudi, not your husband, not your children. Because guess what? They are all God too.
So, but if I go out and I look in nature and I see that God made that.
Don't overthink it. Can you accept you made it also as a divine creature?
No, that's the part that's still hard. Remember, we talked about that last time. That part is difficult, and I'm just being honest. That's hard for me to comprehend. I can comprehend that the way I comprehend it is God as a mind, and like little fingers can be angels, and they're extensions of God. Like I can get that part, but me as God, I still can't.
People can't fathom.
Who am I praying to?
People can't fathom that truth that is true always, that you
Right.
are. And this is where the illusion and the freedom to come in to say, you know what, I can choose to be this way and it's okay. Because eventually you're going to keep doing things that are supernatural that you can't explain.
Well, yeah, that happens every day.
Well, think about our incident at the hospital.
Yeah.
How did you get back? I didn't bring you back. Only God.
But you helped me get back, though.
Only God could bring itself back into that body.
That's true.
Only God could bring itself back into that body. And that body was deceased.
Oh, I just heard what you said. You said only God could bring itself back into that body.
So God brought itself back into that body.
Okay.
I was only an influence. In other words, when we say we heal, we don't heal, we influence healing because you are God to heal itself.
Right.
You're just conduit to those who are open-minded to say, you know what, I believe that I can be healed, so therefore it will happen. And then all of a sudden, every fiber in their God nature goes to work on what they're wanting and why they're desiring. What do I want? Step 2, God answers. Step 3, you believe it, receive it, and then you get really good at step 5. So don't overthink it. Keep it as simple as possible. In other words, if you and God are one, leave it right there. You and God created the cup. You and God created the body. You and God created the spirit. You and God created the glasses. You and God, you are co-creator, if that even makes you feel better. If it makes you sleep better at night. In reality, that is the truth. How many of you have all had supernatural experiences that you cannot explain, whether you call it a prayer, a request, a demand, you were in the flow? Every last one of you. Whether it be on a small scale or grand scale, you still created it. Only you as God created it. Only you as God could live it and experience it. And then as you as God have the ability to manifest it and share it with others if you so choose. Doesn't that put you in a much better place? Now you have a better understanding of I and my Father, I and my creative source are one. In other words, whatever me and the Father are in, we are in alignment because we work as one. Go ahead, Sudi.
Yeah, from the Buddhism point of view is that anytime somebody born back to this world, they forget whatever they experienced before, past lives or who they were and all those things.
Yep.
So I think it's because of this forget that we do not realize that we are actually God. So being reminded back means like we are God, we are Buddha, whatever in whatever languages you want to say. We have to start new. So that's why we cannot fathom why is it that we can create this world or create small things, whatever. But as usual, we have to start from small because we just we just woke up kind of thing, right? So we have to
Right.
start more, whatever small things that we created, they become reality, whether you can explain logically or not. But as we progress, as we remember more and more and more, oh yeah, it's true that we are God, then I think things will just flow accordingly.
Absolutely.
That's a good point.
Think about this. How many times have I called all you gods? How many times have I greeted all of you as gods?
Too many.
Too many, right?
Yeah.
Like a broken record. And the reason why we kept doing it is to connect you and the Father is what? One, you are God. You are God having a God experience in the flesh with freedom to choose any way you choose. Yes.
Even in Buddhist, is that we learn that our spirit is actually a split, another piece from God. So,
Wow.
so you just have to think like, you know, we are like all the computer we have in the world,
Yes.
whether do we plug in or not. So when we plug in, we actually connect to the whole world and the whole universe.
And that's a great analogy. We're all World Wide Web to source. Wireless.
Plug in.
That's why God is everywhere. Omnipresent. In other words, if you go somewhere, will you find yourself there?
Yes.
Of course.
So then too, you will be everywhere. You are always there. Right?
Yeah.
Think about this. Now watch this. Let's go even a little bit further. How many of you have thought about people from far distances and they connected with you within days or weeks or even
All
months?
the time. That happens to me all the time.
Think about how that is done in terms of revelation and discernment when it's great distances. Just like the World Wide Web, just like the wireless internet. Once you plug in and they plug in, y'all are same IP address, your same mailbox address, your same PO boy address, your same street address, your same alignment. Now you connect. Oh, I was just thinking about you. Oh, you was on my mind. Oh, I was just wondering how you were. Somebody was just talking about you. Or something to that fact, or nothing at all. And they just connect. Make sense?
Yes.
So why is this important? In the end, all techniques, all methodologies, all strategies are really magical means for taking away the egoic part of the mind, insistence upon the authority of the illusion, to seduce, to trick the mind, to bring it to a place where it must come in order. To that we have given unto you, these lessons are given unto you because the mind has been held by sway by illusion. The art of lessening the value that the mind places upon illusion is all that can be taught. All teaching is designed to return the mind to the brink of the kingdom of heaven. All teaching is designed to return the mind to the brink of the kingdom of heaven. Sudi said it best. Everybody who reincarnates forgets. That is part of the plan. The other part of the plan is eternity. Is it not? So let's play the game well.
Amen.
There and there alone, the mind itself, that which you essentially are, must, now listen, what did I just say? There and there alone, the mind itself, that which you essentially are. So when you talk about spirit, like Ms. Chalet said, the conscious, and Melissa, the conscious mind, we're all part of that conscious mind. That is essentially who you are, okay? Must from the depth of its beingness, unattached to anyone or anything, declare its decision to be awake and assume the amount of responsibility for bringing forth into this world only the light of the truth in each moment, which each breath, each gesture, every intention, with every vision, every thought, and every choice. Indeed, beloved ascended masters, the way of transformation brings you to the brink of the way of certain knowledge. This is a journey without distance to a goal that has never changed. It is merely a changed what? Mind. Decision to value the truth and truth alone. When that decision has been fully embraced, you might think of it as a full embrace that embodies every cell of your being and the totality of all that you are. It becomes perfectly devoted to your union with who? God. Perfectly devoted to the recognition that as the created, it is time to surrender resistance to truth and to accept that the love of God has been given to you fully, without measure, without condition. No judgment, none of that stuff. And that you have been created to live from that love, that love might inform every thought and every deed, that love might pour forth through you as the very source of your own who? Identity. No longer I, but thine would be one way of saying it. In other words, me and my Father are one is another way of keep saying it. When the mind has fully come to the recognition that no other decision holds value or purpose, that no other decision can bring the soul the peace of the fulfillment that is sought in so many ways in the field of illusion, then the Father takes the final steps for you. That is then, by an act of grace, that tiny drop of water that seemed to be so separate from the ocean dissolves and melts itself into the ocean again, or itself. There is no longer a separate self to be found. The body mind arises and continues yet for a little while until the purpose is fulfilled. Then it is put aside as a toy that has been outgrown. The mind, the power of the consciousness, slips into the perfect and eternal truth that has been true always. There is only the love of God. I am only in existence to express that truth. Everybody understand that? Yes, no, maybe so?
Yes.
All right. In the way of perfect knowledge, all extended, and the mind flows born by love. It flows like the wind, knowing not where it comes from or where it's going, for it cares are not in the world. How many have heard that statement? We're in the world, but not of the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so now be when. It is certainty is in love. Peace pervades the entirety of the mind, wherever it happens to find attention placed. Bless you. And all things of the world have whole of creation to a brother and sister. And all things of the world have whole of creation to a brother and sister. In other words, we're all connected, regardless if you like it or not. For in truth, all of you are exactly that, perfectly equal, perfectly innocent, perfectly radiating and shining forever. You become the anointed. You become the Messiah, that which brings forth the word of God. You become Christ. Yet this is not an accomplishment, it is merely the return to an ancient remembrance of what has always been. Sudi said it best. It is a returning back to the remembrance, because when you drink from the pool of forgetfulness, now it's your job to remember. But here's what's different now. The veil is being lifted, where now you are knowing who you are fully and wholly to go to the next level of your evolution.
Yes.
Okay, that is actually what's happening. Some would call it the second coming. That would be a proper way of saying it. The second coming is not one of judgment and all those things. It's not that. Okay. The mind having surrendered all resistance to love, the mind having surrendered to resistance of what? Love. Everybody say amen on that one. Because you have to surrender the mind to what? Love, in order to create that you're desiring. You only create out of love. God only creates out of love. Okay? Merely abide in the certainty of the perfect knowledge. This awaits you now on just the other side of the final decision. Look well then at all that has transpired for you in these past 12 lessons. Have the chance encounters, the insights, the visions, and all that this before, the visions and all of this been by chance? Has it been by accident? Hardly. For in depth of your being, you chose to enter the way of transformation. You chose to open the depth of your being to reflection of truth you already know, given by the ancient brother who has loved you since before time, is one who has merely chosen to enact the extension of love in whatever way is available. All right, can somebody read that next part? You don't mind?
As I have said unto you many times, I'm not limited in how I communicate with any mind that would open a place for me. This pathway is but one of many, yet it is the way in which you have made the decision to allow the communication to be known to your conscious mind. It is a context you have chosen to allow your release from fear and your embrace of love.
Mhm.
I once said upon you that all things that begin in time end in time.
Mhm.
For their purpose is not to become a substitute for what is eternal, but to be devices whereby the remembrance of the eternal is returned to every mind that is part of the of the sonship, the one mind, the mind of Christ, in which you dwell and have your true being.
Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay. The way of transformation then had beginning as it has an end. The way of certain knowledge, which will comprise the next part of these lessons, will have a beginning and an end. Rest assured, I say unto you that when the way of knowledge has been imparted to you, when we say the way of knowledge, it's also going to be called the way of knowing. So we taught you the way of the heart, which is the first lesson. Then we taught you, as we're leaving, the way of transformation, as we're transforming our thinking of who we really are. But we had to go in the heart lesson, because remember, the first lesson we gave you was unconditional love. Unconditional love deals with the heart, deals with the heart and connects to the heart and to your mind, right? So as we continue these lessons, then we continue to practice, because practice makes what?
Better.
Okay.
Perfecto.
Perfecto. And the purpose of the way of the mastery and our teaching learning period will have come to a conclusion. This does not mean that I will depart from you from where you are, but it does mean that you will have stepped into a certain certainty that you are that one. This is why we always emphasize to say to yourselves or give yourselves affirmation, me and my Father are one, to continue to connect you to the Father, to connect you to Source, to connect you to Creator, to connect you to Allah, to Jehovah, whatever you call God, Creator. They're all the same thing. They're all talking about the same one source, okay? But here's the difference. And what you will seek to gain from me, you will find in the temple of your own heart. For great is he who is where? In me. So you go in the temple of your own heart, which is that of love, which is God. There I will join you as not as your teacher, as a savior, but as your friend, as your creator. You will be free then, because you will no longer be seeking knowledge from me. You will be extending love from the soul of your own beingness. And you will be free to invite me as a friend to join with you in your creation. This is an invitation that I will gladly accept, for only the purpose of creation is to do what? Extend love. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, we got plenty of time. Questions, comments, concerns?
Nope.
We all good, gods? We all okay with that? You can give yourself the little G, fine. Give yourself the big G, that's fine. You can give whatever. In other words, have an intimate relationship with God. In other words, start loving yourself and start seeing everything as good, holy, and beautiful. That makes sense?
Yes.
You will begin to see, as you deliberately create, you will create out of love, and you will extend that love to others. Now what happens is we begin to plant love seeds, because people on this planet don't know the definition of what love is. If you say love in Christianity, you're going to get 5 different Bible versions of what love means. You say love in Buddhism, you're going to get 5 different definitions of what that means in Taoism, Hinduism, and so forth and so on. But now, when you look at unconditional love, now you say that is God. That is the freedom to express the mind without resistance. Does that make sense? To love and accept only that which is good, holy, and beautiful, because that is the essence of your beingness. Make sense? All right. Love you all. I didn't think we was going to get done, but we got done.
Namaste.
All right. Well, have a blessed day. Go enjoy your day, the deliberate creators. I will be meeting you all in the spirit as I always do. We always play in the spirit as we always do. All right. Love you all. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Pastor.
You're very welcome. Love you all.